resolution from the Missouri Senate to your mayor. And instead of reading all the whereases and therefores, which is really kind of boring stuff, but it looks good on the wall and you can read it. I just wanted to present that, and I want to tell just a little bit about my history with the city of Arnold. I've lived in the county my entire life. And one of the things that I've got 3 daughters. Right now they're 27, 26, and 21. And one of the things that always amazes them is when I drive by and through Arnold, and I drive by 141 in Jeffco, I tell them this used to be a 1 lane in every direction stop sign. And they don't believe me. But that's how much the city of Arnold's grown. And I'm glad to be here, part of the community, and to grow with it over time. I'm not much more than 50. Okay, maybe a little bit more than 50. But I'm just delighted to be here, and it's an exciting time for me to be a senator and celebrate this with you. So congratulations, Mayor. Well, another 50 years.
And Mayor, on behalf of the Missouri House, I'm going to present you a similar proclamation. But as the senator referred to, back in the day, I came out here when 55 was only 2 lanes after 141, and there was a stop sign, and Richardson Road was much more crooked. So that's why I came out here. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed working with you and your team here, and the archery range is certainly something that I think we worked well together and made sure we made Arnold a better place together. Thank you, and congratulations on your 50 years.
Thank you. I want to thank the Honorable Paul Whelan and the Honorable Dan Shaw for these beautiful certificates we have here. We appreciate it very much. And just for your information, I remember before they had 55. He's old school. I think there were dirt roads when I was starting. But I really appreciate, and the city of Arnold appreciate you guys and everything you do, representing us in both the Senate and the House. We certainly appreciate all you've done for Arnold in the past, and we're looking forward to you guys in the future. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank our city councilmen for all their support in making our 50th anniversary celebration such a wonderful success. I'd also like to do a shout out for Ward 1 Councilman E.J. Fleshman for singing the national anthem during our gala. I'd also like to do a shout out for Tim Seidenstricker from Ward 2 for also playing the piano and doing such a wonderful job in our celebration during the gala. I'd like to thank our 50th anniversary committee who's worked so hard for the last year and a half to make our 50th anniversary celebration a success. I'd like to say a special thanks to Ward 4 Councilman Gary Plunk, who chaired this committee and also brought the idea forward. I would also like to thank our Parks and Rec Center Director, Mr. Dave Crutchley, and all of his staff for all the hard work they put into making this gala event such a success. I'd also like to mention our city administrator, Brian Richardson, and let him know that we appreciate all his work in helping us make this 50th anniversary a success. As everyone knows, the water towers is a symbol of Arnold. And this year, during our celebration, our group in the Parks Department built and constructed 10 water towers out of concrete. And one of them actually has a time capsule in it. We also want to thank the artists that came in and painted these water towers. It's going to be a great addition to our celebration this year. We'll be putting these 10 water towers throughout the city for people to view. At this time, I would like to introduce our very special guest speaker today. He truly followed his dream, and that sometimes being a very difficult path. But with his passion for the sport, he has become one of the top NASCAR drivers in history. Please welcome Herman, the Herminator, Mr. Kenny Wallace.
Happy 50th anniversary, Arnold, Missouri. Hello, everyone. I'm the Herminator. Herman the German. Not really, those are my nicknames. I am that race car driver guy, Kenny Wallace, out of Arnold, Missouri. But before all that happened, I was born in 1963, downtown St. Louis, Missouri. My mom and dad, Russ and Judy Wallace, they told me when I was 3 months old, we moved to Rolla, Missouri, well, about 80 miles west. But after that, that was the most exciting time of my life. Grew up right here in Arnold, Missouri, Vogel Road. My childhood in Arnold, Missouri was the absolute best. I would say that I was the all-American kid. I ran the creeks. My favorite thing about that creek, it would go from Vogel Road all the way down to Palmy and right through Old Lee May Ferry. I'd find those little water wells, look at the minnows, have my BB gun. I loved my life here. We built tree houses. Never forget my tree house. Oh my Lord. Had the rope hanging down, did all the swinging. About 6 months in, the rope broke. Of course, I busted my butt. That's part of being a kid in Arnold, Missouri. Or how about the night at Rock Roll Arena? You all roller skated, right? Just like me? I'd beg my mom. I'd say, Mom, please let me go to Rock Roll Arena. It's an all-night skate. Of course, that meant till 6 the next morning. We couldn't make it that far. Usually around 10, 11 at night. How about all of you, right? Mom, come pick me up. I can't stay awake anymore. Oh man, what a wonderful time. Then I got a little older. Things started changing. Remember the wedge? Now it's a beautiful old folks home. I remember when gas was 35 cents a gallon. That was my life. That was my childhood right here in Arnold, Missouri. But I always had a dream. We were known as the rednecks on Vogel Road. We were racing them old race cars. My friends down in Harmony Hills subdivision, they'd say, what are them Wallaces starting them race cars up for? My dad, it'd be about 10 at night. Wow, wow. Hey Wallaces, shut your race car off. Dad raced Tri-City Speedway, Granite City, Illinois, Lake Hills Speedway in Valley Park, Missouri. I once went to Merrimack Heights, and I'll never forget my 6th grade teacher. She told me, she says, can I talk to you, Kenny? I said, sure. She said, Kenny, you smell like grease. I'm 58 and I still remember that to this day. Well, you all get the point by now, right? We were a racing family out of Arnold, Missouri. We raced cars and we had a big dream. We wanted to make it to the highest form of motorsports, which was a NASCAR. And by God, we did it. I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina for 27 years, had a wonderful career. But I always had this plan in the back of my head. I always wanted to go back home, always wanted to go back to Arnold, Missouri. Well, between all that, we did a lot of traveling. Went to Japan 2 years in a row, and I raced my race car at Motegi and Suzuka Circuit. We've been to Canada, we've been to Mexico. You get the picture. We've done a lot of traveling, but there's still a lot more that I want to do. So eventually, we moved back right here to Arnold, Missouri. When I moved back, everybody was so nice to me. And the number one question by everybody, from all of you, is this. Kenny Wallace, why did you move back to Arnold, Missouri? My wife, Kim, said it best. She said, if you live in Arnold, Missouri, you should love it. You should take pride in it. And that's really why we came back, because we love Arnold. When we left, we didn't leave for good. I left to fulfill my dream. I wanted to be a race car driver. Now that I'm back here, I made the right choice. How about when I was a kid? I kept going past this body shop on my bicycle. Count's Auto Body. You know where I'm going with this one, right? I'm gone 27 years, I come back. Ron Counts is the mayor. Makes sense to me though. Ran a business here, lived in Arnold. And Mr. Counts, you have done an incredible job. I want to thank you. I know you're a tough guy, and I don't know if you need to be congratulated or not, but from the bottom of my heart, Kenny Wallace, round of applause for you, my friend. And to the Arnold Police Department, thank you for keeping us safe. I appreciate you. I could go on and on forever. I'm not going to talk about them changing the color of that water tower because I know the city didn't have nothing to do with it. That's all right. I've got used to that new color. It has grown on me. I went all the way through the C6 school district. 1st through 6th was Merrimack Heights. I have memories to last a lifetime. 7th, 8th, and 9th was Seckman. Boy, oh boy, can I tell some stories about Seckman. If any teachers watching, I apologize. You do know that I was born hyperactive. It was Merrimack Heights they put me on Ritalin, and then my mom took me off of it. I was a little wild. I was a lover, but I wanted your attention. Thank you for putting up with me so much to the complete C6 school district. And then, of course, it was 10th, 11th, and 12th back in those days. And I graduated in 1981 from Fox Senior High School. What's that, Gary? Do the Jake break. Do the Jake break. So here's the way the story goes. I'd come out of second wing, and we're right there. For you locals, it's Jeffco Boulevard. Everybody else might know this, 6167. When I would come out of second wing to go into third wing, the trucks would come down to the stoplight right there, right across from the school. Everybody to this day, we get to having a good time. I could be anywhere in the world. People say, Herman. Remember, that's my nickname. Kenny Wallace, do the Jake break. Them old trucks, they had to slow up. That's where I learned it. As they would say, darn you, that'll learn you. My life in Arnold, Missouri was the best. I wouldn't change it for anything. Like I said before, running the creeks, riding my bicycle, and rock roll arena and living life to its fullest. I decided to come back because of all that. So I live in Arnold, Missouri. I love it. Happy to be here. And we'll probably end up here the rest of our lives. I love you all. And remember, happy anniversary, baby. Hey, Arnold, I got you on my... Am I singing?
Our next speaker is someone who has served the city of Arnold for over 30 years. His only goal has been making Arnold a better place to live, and I believe he has accomplished that goal. Our own city attorney, please welcome Bob Sweeney.
As we begin this year rightly celebrating all that has been accomplished in the city of Arnold in the last 50 years, it would be remiss of us not to recognize the back-breaking work of those men and women that actually founded the city of Arnold. Ferd Lang, Marion Becker, Boyd Mills, Al Ems, and the countless others whose absence from my lips in no way diminishes their contributions. In recognizing these folks, it is critical to understand that they had no playbook or roadmap to follow. Remember, the other municipalities in Jefferson County were wholly unlike what was to become the city of Arnold. Crystal City, Company Town, built and supported by the massive Pittsburgh Plate Glass Company. Herculaneum, Company Town, built and supported by the largest lead smelting firm in the world, St. Joe Lead. DeSoto, supported and platted by Missouri Pacific Railroad. Festus, platted and planned municipality. These founders had to knit together 6 disparate communities into a single unit without a model or precedent. And what they built was a solid foundation grounded in security, planning and zoning, and infrastructure. They insisted on establishing a full-time professional police department. They insisted on establishing sanitary sewers. They insisted on professional planning. In short, they insisted on and created an environment that fostered prosperity and growth. Prosperity and growth as individuals, as families, and as a community. So what did this foundation create in addition to all these shiny business districts, efficient transportation networks, parks, and schools? I'll describe an example that I know best, my family. When I moved to Arnold with my mother, stepfather, and 3 siblings, I enrolled in 8th grade at Fox Junior High School. I was 12 years old. Fox was the 8th school I had gone to, and we were not a military family. I had never been from somewhere. I always seemed to be passing through. But Arnold was our family's final destination. My parents still live in Arnold, their 3rd home. The first taken by the Merrimack River in 1982, the second taken by eminent domain, by me, but they still love me. As part of the Arnold Commons development, that home is actually located where the detention basin currently is. And the third home, on high ground, away from any potential development, just off Tenbrook. My family and each of us grew, prospered, and succeeded in Arnold. Of course, it wasn't just the city of Arnold. Love, family, God, education, all played a part in our futures and success. But Arnold was our sense of place. It became where we were from, and that anchor is important. My sister graduated from Fox and took a job right out of high school with Union Electric, now Ameren. She retired a couple of years ago after a nearly 40-year career of being a service line driver, delivering and erecting electrical poles throughout Jefferson County. She ended her career volunteering to go to Puerto Rico for Hurricane Maria relief. My middle brother, who many of you know, is a City of Arnold police officer. For nearly 20 years, he's been the school resource officer for the Fox campus in Arnold, imparting his special brand of education and security to students of the Fox district. He graduated from Fox, went to the St. Louis City Police Academy, and returned to serve and protect the community that nurtured him. My youngest brother parlayed his stardom on the Fox high school football team into a 4-year scholarship, where he became a 4-year starter and academic All-American. He took that Arnold upbringing and education and founded his own insurance marketing firm that, in the fall of 2019, was purchased by a Silicon Valley hedge fund for $75 million. He owned 80% of the company at the time of purchase. It is arguable that I've accomplished the least, but I am proud and happy that I was able to take advantage of my time at Union Electric to get a college degree, go to law school, and remain in my community. And as city attorney for just shy of 30 years, I have seen and been a part of a lot of wonderful improvements. Every positive thing myself and my family have achieved is rooted in the solid foundation of this community, started by hardworking visionaries, working without a playbook, and perpetuated by today's city leaders. I owe much of what I am to this community, and it makes me proud to say, I'm from Arnold.
I'd like to thank all those people over the last 50 years that has made Arnold such a wonderful place to live, work, and play.